Recording. So, okay. So can say, so this DBA course, the timings will be 8 to 9 a.m. So the complete DBA course, not development. So PostgreSQL DBA course. So the timings will be 8 to 9 a.m. IST. So classes will be Monday to Friday. So every day the section will start 8 o'clock and end with 9 a.m. IST. There is no sections on weekend. Okay, so if anyone want to come to lab, so the lab also available. This is the address for our institute. So let me, okay. So the PostgreSQL DB nowadays, this why this much huge requirement means the main is it's a open source database. It's a open source PostgreSQL DB and it's available EDB also. EDB version also available and open source also available. Open source means there is no need to take any license. If anyone can download freely without any license cost, they can download and they can utilize in their project. So that is a major advantage. And other advantage is so it's a licensed DB also available, licensed database in enterprise edition also available. Enterprise edition. Enterprise edition. So who provide the enterprise edition? There is a EDB organization, EDB. So that's why EDB PostgreSQL database. So when you see EDB, that's a licensed database, enterprise database. We have to take the license if you want to utilize EDB in your project. What is the difference between EDB and open source means? Here, if you have any issues while using open source database, if you have any issues, you have to fix the problem. There is no vendor support here. So if we go with EDB PostgreSQL database, enterprise PostgreSQL database, what is the advantage means? Here we get the vendor support. Here we get the vendor support like Oracle. If you have any issues while using Oracle database, simple you can raise a ticket with oraclesupport.com. They will come to they based on the priority they will fix our problem. The same way here, if we use EDB PostgreSQL, you have to take the license. Then if you have any issues while using this EDB database, what are the issues? Yes, you have to raise a simple ticket with edbsupport.com. Based on the priority, they will fix our problem. So, okay, Oracle also we are taking license. Here also we are taking license. Then why the projects are migrating from Oracle to EDB PostgreSQL or open source? So who are looking for it's a non-critical database. Who are they have non-critical applications. They can go for open source database. Some clients they are thinking application is critical. So they can go for EDB PostgreSQL database. The license cost is 10 times less compared to Oracle database. Here also we are taking the license. In Oracle database also we have to take the license, but the license cost is very less compared to Oracle in case of EDB PostgreSQL, 10 times less. That's why all the projects migrating from other database to PostgreSQL. Some people they go with open source database, some people they go with EDB PostgreSQL. So that is about okay. So difference between EDB and open source PostgreSQL database. Okay. So what are the versions available open source? Nowadays the PostgreSQL 17 also released. The latest version is PostgreSQL 17. So during this training we are going to use PostgreSQL 16 version. So in the projects mostly they used currently PostgreSQL 14 or 15. Yes, we are going to cover this 16 version. What are the 16 the practical everything it should work for any version, either 14 or 15, 16. So any version you can practice those all practical session it works for any version. So this is the latest version PostgreSQL. This is the version we are going to use during this training. So we are going to cover open source PostgreSQL database only. Open source PostgreSQL database only, not EDB. Okay. So once we familiar with open source database, end of the course. Okay. So 4 to 5 sections will take EDB sections. What is the difference between EDB and open source? So mostly it will same. The everything, the file structure, the everything is same. There is just few differences are there. How to identify in so and so project what database they are using, open source or EDB. There is a some based on the port number, based on the super user. We can understand whether it is what database they are using, open source database or EDB database. So that we'll discuss, and end of the course just will take 4 to 5 sessions. So we'll discuss about EDB. Okay. So any queries from anyone as of now? Yes. Okay. So I already shared the course content. So this is the course content. Okay. This is the course content, the installation types, uninstallation, PG admin, to connect the database via GUI. So then customized installation, what are the post installation steps, enable remote connections, and a cluster configuration, how to create the cluster, how to create multiple clusters, set up environment variables, what are the shutdown modes and the startup modes, how to create the database, how to manage the database, and a cluster hierarchy, catalog views or system table views, schema management, how to create the schemas, how to drop the schemas, enable logging mechanism, user management. There we discuss how to create read access, write access, what are the users and groups, and parameters, what are the static and dynamic parameters. So whenever you want to change any parameter, what we do? So kill session, how to kill the sessions, what is the DB, how to check the DB size, contrib models. This is the architecture part. Architecture part 1, part 2 means memory based architecture and process based architecture will discuss in deeply. So important parameters, then wall files, change the wall file location, enable archive mechanism, auto commit, table space, how to create the own table space, what are the default table space, how to move the objects from one table space to other table space, backup, logical backup and physical backup, what are the utilities we are using to take the backup and restore, how to take the physical backup, how to perform point in time recovery, upgrade, patching, what is the patching activity in Postgres, what is the minor version upgrade and major version upgrade, maintenance activities, vacuum full, reindex, performance tuning. These are the tools we are going to discuss. These are the cloud platform AWS RDS and AWS VM, Oracle PC for migrating Oracle to Postgres. This is our course content. Okay, so the course duration will be 30 days, 30 sessions. The session will be taking Monday to Friday only. There is no sessions on weekend. So the fee will be 13K, 13,000. Fee will be okay. So yes, anyone any queries?
Venkat,
Go ahead.
replication primary standby that also covered, right?
Yes, it's somewhere it's there. Streaming replication,
Streaming
your
and
failover. Yes.
rep MGR also, right?
RepMJ, it's not okay. So we'll if you know streaming replication, you can easily you can configure. We'll share the RepMJR document. The same thing. The we discussed initially streaming replication, how to replicate the data from primary to standby, how to switch over, how to fail over. If you know this streaming replication basic one, easily you can configure rep manager. On top of streaming replication, we are using RepMJR. So we'll share the document. You can go through the document. You can practice. If you have any queries, we'll discuss.
Sure.
It's easy.
Hello, hello.
Good.
Please, are you going to check Patroni or maybe EFM?
That's what Pratroni. Okay, so to configure replication in real time. Okay, so depends on project. They are using different tools. If you know basic streaming replication, easily you can configure EFM. Suppose EFM. So where we are using EFM? So in EDB. So if you know basic streaming replication, on top of streaming replication, we use EFM, automatic failover. Yes, if you know streaming replication, EFM it's very easy. We can configure. So if you have any issues, you can raise a ticket with EDB. They will help you. That's very easy. EFM also. But we some people they are asking Patroni, some people they are asking Rep Manager, some people asking EFM. So we cannot discuss all the tools, right? So the basic, if you know, yes, you can easily configure the other things, whatever they required.
No, that's fine, Venkat. If you have any document, you can
Yeah, that's
share
what a
the
RepMJR we
Patron.
will share the document. Yes.
No, no, this rep MGR as well as Patroni to mostly heap uh,
Yeah.
is setup.
So Patron is
Keep, yeah,
mostly they used in the open source platform only.
keep alive.
Like even Patron, some people they are using repm there. Okay, so repm there I will share the document. So Patron, yes, will share the some Google
Yeah,
link.
he proxied. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate
Yes,
you.
we'll share that.
Okay, thank you. Proceed.
Yeah. Whatever the topics here mentioned, everything I will discuss theoretical and practical. Every day we are opening this document. So here we are what are the topics completed? Just we here the status marked as a completed. The other thing, what are you asking? Okay, what are the some people asking patron, some people EFM? We'll share the so document easily. You can configure. This is the basic. With this topic, with this content, you can easily manage up to 6+ years experience.
Venkat,
Yeah. Yes.
uh, please, for monitoring, are you going to also show us maybe any major monitoring tool like Grafana and Prometheus, how to set it up in a real-time environment, stuff like that? Like how to really see it, like how
Grafana,
to
right?
Grafana and Prometheus, like how to really
Yeah. Yeah.
scrap
It's a monitoring
metrics,
tool. Yes.
how to scrap metrics from our Postgres server
So
into
okay.
Grafana dashboards.
Okay, so yeah, will for Grafana, okay, for monitoring setup, okay. So just even okay, I did not work Grafana. We are using a EDB PEM Postgres Enterprise Manager is a monitoring tool provided by EDB. So we'll give you just overview on the PEM. So that it's everything is same. If you know one monitoring tool, the other tools also same.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Last question, Venkat.
Yeah, go ahead, Mohammed.
PG repack vacuum when we.
Yeah, we'll discuss PG repair, no problem.
Okay.
That's a small, just 10 to 15 minutes
Yeah,
only.
sometimes the vacuum and PG repack, sometimes the dead
Yeah,
to
yeah,
post,
we'll
not
discuss.
directly.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, proceed. Thank you.
Okay, so any other queries in prospective course content? I will share this already. I will share the link. This what are the topics? You can go through later. Okay, you can if you have any queries, let me know. Okay, so 3 days back we started. So the installations, we already installed Postgres on the Windows GUI method. So this is the method only to install Postgres on Windows platform. So I share the what are the last 3 sessions there in the YouTube channel. So this is my YouTube channel. So you can go through. So this is they can say September 2025. So here the all the 4 sections are there. So you can go through. So, okay, this is the demo session. This is the Oracle Linux 8 installation. OS because it's very important to set up lab environment in our laptop. First, we have to install Linux 8, how to create the VM, on top of VM, how to install Oracle Linux 8 version. Then we installed Postgres database and Windows operating system. The next section, last section, day 4. So we installed Postgres database on Linux 8 version 8.10 using source code method. So basically, these are the 4 methods are there to install Postgres, any platform, irrespective of the platform. So one is GUI method. This is applicable only Windows platform. This we completed. It's there in the YouTube channel. Just go through it. And if you take any Linux operating system, any flavor of the Linux, that could be RHL, that could be OEL, that could be any other Linux. So these are the 3 methods available to you to set up the database server. So you can say one is source code method. So we already completed source code method. So just you can go through last session day 4 clearly mentioned in the YouTube channel. Yes, go through it. This last 3 days we discussed. This is second method is M method. So today we are going to discuss this M method. How to set up a database server, Postgres database server using M method on Linux platform. Source code method, M method, RPM method. These 3 methods will be applicable on Linux only, not Windows. In Windows, only one method is there. That is for GUI installation. It's very easy in Windows. Download under Nest. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I shared the link. Okay, so okay, so you can say we'll discuss M method. So any Linux platform, there is some prerequisites are there. So what are the prerequisites? Can say There is a GCC. What are the prerequisites we require? Compiler. We need compiler. GCC compiler we required. We required compiler, that is GCC. The compiler version. The compiler version. The compiler version also it's mandatory. What is the version required? 3.80 or above. These are the mandatory prerequisites. These are the mandatory prerequisites. These are the mandatory prerequisites. What are the optional prerequisites? Optional prerequisites. Optional prerequisites. Can say optional prerequisites, readline RPM and zlib RPM. So why it's required GCC compiler? So initially the Postgres, who is the author of Postgres SQL? Mitchell Stonebreaker. Mitchell Stonebreaker. Yes, is the author of Postgres database. Okay, so is the team lead with the help of colleagues? He developed Postgres database. Initially, they give name is Ingress. Later, they renamed as PostgreSQL database. Okay, so based on they developed PostgreSQL database, but based on C language. Based on C language. Based on C language. Based on C language, they developed PostgreSQL database. We cannot install directly PostgreSQL database because it's developed based on C language. So we are saying PostgreSQL RDBMS product. If it is any RDBMS product, it supports SQL language. Yes or no? If any RDBMS product, it supports SQL language. Yes. So if you want to install PostgreSQL database, first you have to convert. First you have to convert from C language to SQL language. How to convert? Who going to convert from C language to SQL language? Directly you can download, you can install, you cannot. It has to convert from C language to SQL language. Who convert? Compiler. Because in C language, any statement if you want to execute, we require compiler. Here also, it's a C language. They developed based on C language. Initially, they all the C language statements it has there. So if you want to convert from C language to SQL language, we required compiler. The compiler name is GCC. Mandatory required GCC compiler. How to verify GCC existing or not? RPM-QA GCC. So yes, suppose compiler is existing. What is the compiler version also mandatory? How to get the compiler version? Make version. It should be 3.80 or above. That's fine. It should not lower than this version. These are the mandatory prerequisites. Any Linux platform. In Windows, there is no, it's not required to check prerequisites. Directly download and install. Optional prerequisites. Optional prerequisites. What are the optional prerequisites? Readline RPM, zlib RPM. What is the use of readline? Suppose we are assuming this is the SQL database prompt. If you create a table, create table EMP, create table EMP, ID, integer. Yes, I create a table. So I want to see what is the last previous executed statement. When you give page up, it gives the last executed statement. This type of functionality it will support if you have readline. If you don't have that only that functionality doesn't support. Yes, you can install without these two, zlib and readline. These are the optional. zlib, you can take the database backup in compressed format. These are the optional prerequisites. Without these two, we can go and set up the PostgreSQL database server. But without these two, we cannot. The installation going to fail. These are the prerequisites. First, once we get the Linux server from Linux admin, yes, we have to verify these prerequisites. So let's go and do the verify prerequisites. This is my Linux server. Let me start the Linux server. We are using Oracle VirtualBox Manager. How to install this Oracle VirtualBox Manager, where you can download, how to download Oracle Linux 8.10, how to install everything. It's there in the second video. This is the Oracle Linux 8.10 installation. If you go through this day 2 video, day 2 record, there it's there. how to download Oracle VirtualBox Manager, how to install, how to create VM, how to install Oracle Linux. Then once you set up the lab environment, then you can install Postgres using any method, either source code method, either M method, either RPM method. So this yesterday last class we completed this one. Today we are going to discuss M method. Next class we'll discuss RPM installation. You can say let me log in. The default user root Oracle. Let me take the IP address and connect putty. Yes. Open terminal. If config. What is the IP address? 0.103. Let me open putty. 192.168. 0.103. Yes. Click on accept. Root Oracle. Okay. So let me increase the font size. Change settings. Appearance. Change. Just to change the font style and font size. Okay. So suppose we are assuming this is the server. Linux team they hand over to us as a DBA. Yes, we request this is the Linux so version we required. So these are the packages required to install Postgres. Yes, they told okay, we are done. Just please go on to set up PostgreSQL. Okay, let me verify cat/etc os-release. First we need to verify which Linux they installed. How to verify cat/etc os-release. So you can say this is for Oracle Linux server 8.10. Which Linux they installed? Oracle Linux, Oracle Enterprise Linux. Which version? 8.10. From 16 onwards, from Postgres 16 onwards, we required a Linux 8 version required. If you want to set up the PostgreSQL database server 16 version, backend OS version should be mandatory 8 or higher version required. We cannot install Postgres 16 lower than 8 version. Yes, so we verified Linux 8.10 installed. Okay, so we need to verify the prerequisites. What are the prerequisites? RPM-QA GCC. This is the mandatory prerequisites. We required compiler. Yes, the compiler installed GCC 8.5.0. It's installed. Yes, we are good. What is the version of this compiler? How to verify version? Make-version. Can say make-version. Yes, this is the version. Compiler version. So what is the mandatory version? 3.80 or above. We are good. 4.4 version. 4.2.1. Yes. It should not lower than 3.80. We are good. Mandatory prerequisites. Okay. So let me verify optional prerequisites. RPM-QA read line. Can say read line RPM also it's existing. Yes, it's there. 7.0 version is there. So next is zlib. Once all the prerequisites existing, we are good to proceed Postgres installation. Okay, we are good. Optional existing, mandatory prerequisites existing. So we are going to set up Postgres 16 version. Yes, go ahead. Someone asked something. Yeah, if not, please keep muted. Okay, thanks. So we are going to install Postgres 16 via M method. So first we have to get the software. For all the open source software where we can download postgresql.org. Postgresql.org. This is the website where we can download open source database. If it is EDB, so there is a EDB website there we can download EDB software. Can say EDB. This is the if you want to download EDB, yes, www.enterprisedb.com. You have to visit this website. So we require open source database where we can download postgresql.org. This is the website where we can download open source database. Okay, click on download. So which method we are going to install? M method. For M method or RPM method, we have to choose the packages. For source code method, we have to choose click on source. We already done source code method. We need to install Postgres 16 via M method. For M method RPM method, you have to select packages. Click on packages. Then choose the operating system Linux. Inside Linux, Red Hat. Yes. So you can say here we have to select the which version the latest version is 16. Which version you want to install? Either 16 or 15. Suppose 16. Select the version, select the platform. Platform means operating system, OEL. For Red Hat, Rocky. Okay, so Oracle, for anything, this is the 8 version we are using. Select the operating system version. The select architecture is default 64-bit. So these are the copy, paste and run the relevant parts of the setup script. So these are the steps you have to do one by one. You have to get these instructions first. You have to get this instruction first. Then you have to, you can say, system installation via M method. Yes. Okay. So first install the repository RPM. So whenever you go to M method, the server, make sure your server should have internet connection. Without internet connection, some servers they don't allow internet connection due to security reasons. If the server having internet connection, then only we can proceed M method. If you don't have internet connection, you have to go through source code method. You have to install Postgres via source code method or RPM method. Clear? If the server having internet connection, yes, you can proceed. Mostly they are using M method only in real time. M method, whatever the required packages, it's automatically download, it install. It's not required manually because it has internet connection. It has to connect. First, we have to install the repository locally. We have to install the repository by using this command. Yes, internally it's connected to, can say, download.postgresql.org public repository m repository rpms Linux 8 version. So it has to connect this website, connect the repository. It has to download the repository and keep into local system. Then install the PostgreSQL. Once you install repository from this website, you download and install repository. Then by using the repository, we can install the PostgreSQL system. So once install the server, PostgreSQL system server, we have to create the cluster. To create the cluster, what is the utility we are using? initdb utility. initdb utility we are using to create a cluster. To create a cluster. Once create a cluster, we have to start the services. How to start the services in Postgres? PGCTL we are using to start. If you want to start the services, start or stop or restart. Restart the services manually. If you want to start the services manually, if you want to stop the services manually, you can use pg_ctl utility. Or you can use systemctl. Systemctl is the utility. If we start the services systemctl, if you enable systemctl, if you start the systemctl, what is the advantage if you start the services using systemctl? Whenever the system is rebooted, suppose the Linux server is rebooted, after rebooting, the Postgres services started automatically. There is a daemon process. If we use before, if you start the services using systemctl, once enable this services systemctl, there is a daemon process is there. Whenever the server is rebooted, the daemon process automatically start the Postgres services. If you are not start the services using systemctl, if you want to start the services pg_ctl, then after reboot the server, the services won't started automatically. You have to start the services until unless the services will be down only. We'll see practically, don't worry. Okay. So the meanwhile, initdb is the utility which we can use to create a cluster. Cluster means it's like a instance, one instance. It's not like Oracle rack cluster. Cluster means it's like an instance, one instance. It's like a MySQL instance. So like this, you can create n number of clusters, n number of instances. One instance it contains by default 3 databases. You can create, if you want to, you can create a number of database. So let me do. The first step is install the repository. Install the repository. Just copy paste. Make sure your server should have internet connection. Then only we can proceed via M method. If you don't have internet connection, make sure you have to install Postgres software using source code method, RPM method. Source code method means you have to download the software in local system, then copy the software via WinSCP to software to Linux server. Then you can enter the software. Then you can set up the 16 server. If you have internet connection, yes, they can proceed. Just get the instruction from this postgresql.org website, then copy paste one by one. You can see it's downloading the repository file. If you don't have internet connection, it cannot connect to this website. So in our server, we have internet connection. So it's connected to this website, downloading the repository, installing the repository into our server. Let's wait. Yeah. Meanwhile, if you have any queries, let me know.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, good. Yes.
I have one question. How many clusters can we create in a same platform? Means,
Server. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Suppose
Let
that
me
we are,
open. Yeah. Let me clear you. Let me open and paint. Let me explain just 5 minutes. Suppose this is my Linux server.
yeah.
So here I installed Linux 8, whatever. Okay, some Linux we installed. Suppose Linux 8.10 we installed. Okay. So after Linux, we are trying to install PostgreSQL. This is the okay. We are installing PostgreSQL database software. This is a PostgreSQL database software. Yes. Okay. So if we install Postgres via M method, the Postgres home location will be /usr. Yeah. /usr PGSQL16. This is the PostgreSQL /usr PGSQL-16. This is the default Postgres home location. If you install Postgres via M method or RPM method. M method or please keep muted. Please keep muted. Okay.
చేయకుండా ఎట్లంట గ్రౌండ్కి వెళ్ళేసి వచ్చాం
Hello. Okay. So if you install Postgres M method or RPM method, this is the default home location. That means software will be installed. This is the location. Okay. So once install Postgres, yes, you can create a number of clusters. How to create a cluster? InitDB. So there is a InitDB utility. Using InitDB, you can create a cluster. Suppose, okay, I assuming I created one cluster. So this cluster, each cluster is required one data directory. One data directory. Suppose this is the one data directory, user one data. So what is the purpose of this data directory? To store data files and configuration files. So whatever the first cluster, the first instance related data files and the configuration files, it's going to create inside this data directory user one data. Yes. Okay. So like this, you can create n number of clusters, n number of instances. Suppose this instance, this cluster data directory user one data. This cluster port number 5432 is the default port number. Each cluster, it should have different port number. It should have different data directory. Okay. So suppose I assuming I am going to create another cluster. Yes, you can create another cluster. Yes. But this second cluster also should have different port number 5433. This second cluster should have different data directory. What is the data directory here in this? I am using user one data 2. Yes. This second cluster related data files and the configuration files is going to create inside this location. Like this, you can create a number of clusters. Depends on the system configuration. Third cluster should have different port number 5434. Different data directory, yes, user 1 data 3. Like this, you can create a number of clusters. Whenever you want to connect this first cluster, yes, you can use the respective port number. How to connect the database in Postgres database via command line mode PSQL. PSQL is the utility which we can connect the Postgres database. PSQL -P 5432. It's going to connect which instance? It's going to connect this instance. If you give PSQL, if you give PSQL -P 5434, which instance is going to connect? It's going to connect this third instance. What are the database inside this? Each cluster it has by default it's created 3 databases. Each instance default 3 database created. Postgres, template 0, template 1. Each instance it has by default it's created these many databases. Postgres, template 0, template 1. Here also by default 3 database created. Why they created 3 we'll discuss in the next sessions. So if you want to create your own database, you can create. Connect to which instance there where you want to create your own database, connect to respective instance, you can create. So this is how we are connecting each and every instance. Based on the port number, you can create. You can connect the instance. There you can create your own database. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Yeah. Thanks. Any other queries? No, right? As of now, anyone any other queries? Okay. So can say, so
Venkat,
this is, yeah, good.
I have a query. You meant to say you want to create instance, so we can use initdb is the command, right?
Yeah, yes.
So once the install is one setup, we can create multiple instance using the initdb, right?
Yeah, using every time whenever you want to create a new cluster, you have to use initdb utility.
Okay, got it.
Suppose if you want to create two clusters, 2 times you have to use initdb -d data directory. Then second time initdb -d different data directory.
But main requirement is you should use a different port number, so,
Yeah,
right?
yes. We can create the clusters with the same port number, but when you start the cluster services, that time it should use a different port number. If already one cluster is running with the port number 5432, if you try to start the second cluster with the same port, it doesn't allow. It's saying it's already one cluster is running with the same port number, the port number currently it's using. So you have to change the port number, then you have to start the second cluster, then only to start the services. We'll
Okay,
show you. There is a multi-cluster topic is there, everything it will cover.
okay,
There
got
we
it.
can create multiple clusters, how to start the first cluster, how to start the second cluster. There all the scenarios will be there. You can see here in this topic, multi-clusters are there. You can see
Okay, got it. Thank you.
cluster configuration, multi-cluster. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so once we finished this, it connect to this website, download the repository, install the repository file. Next, you can say disable the built-in PostgreSQL module. Let me disable this one. Next, install PostgreSQL. Which version? 16. Let me install. Okay. So third step, install PostgreSQL 16 server. It's installing. Let's wait. Okay. So let me go to, you can say optionally initialize the database, enable automatic start. So how to initialize the database means initialize the database creating the cluster initdb. We are not mentioning here data directory. In M method, okay, so to create a cluster, new cluster, what we required? We require data directory, we required one user, okay, so we require data directory. So you can see what is the data directory? Suppose user one data. So if you want to use this data directory you have to create, and this data directory should be owned by Postgres user. We require one user. What is the user? Postgres user. This data directory here, we are not mentioning any data directory. So it takes a default data directory. The default data directory to create, The permission, the changing the permissions, it will be automatically changed by Postgres user. It take care of everything. Just you can step by step you can follow. So the user also, Postgres user also is created automatically. We are not created. We are not created data directory. We are not created Postgres user. It take care of automatically. Let me create the cluster. You can see init DBS initialize the database. Okay, that means successfully created a cluster. Let me enable the automatic start. Systemctl enable PostgreSQL 16. Can say there is a daemon process /user lib systemd system PostgreSQL service file is created. Service file is created. You can say service file. Service file is created. What is the service file? Yes, under system daemon there is a service file is created. So whenever the system is rebooted by using this service file, it has all the details: data directory, username, group name. So by using this service file, it's started the services automatically whenever the Linux server is rebooted. So we enable the services. We are starting the services using systemctl. Let me, yes. How to verify the services using systemctl status? You can say active, it's running state. The automatic enable is enabled. Yes, is enabled means automatic services enabled. Means whenever the system is rebooted, automatically services are started by daemon process. Where is the service file located? You can say here. Where is the service file? This is the service file. Inside the service file, so what is the data directory? It create a default data directory. This is the installation location -d data directory. We are not created this data directory for all the data files and the configuration files. Here it created. Why it created inside this place? Because it takes default data directory. If you want to change, yes, we'll change. In the next class, we'll see how to customize data directory, how to customize port number, how to customize super user. What is the default super user? Postgres only super user. What is the default port number here? 5432. If you want to change the super user, if you want to change the port number, if you want to change the default port number, I don't want to maintain this data directory. I want to maintain data directory. Suppose user1 data. Yes, we'll see how to change. This is for default installation part. So for all the data files and the configuration files, where it has created inside data directory. How to verify the data directory? When you use systemctl status, it gives the data directory. So under data directory, there is a configuration files are there. This is the main configuration file. The port number, if you want to change any parameter at OS level, you have to use this parameter file. So what is the port number? Default port number you can verify. Grep port. You can say what is the default port number? 5432. That is the default behavior. If you want to change, yes, you can edit this file. You can change the port number. VI this file 54322 to whatever port number you want to keep, you can change. Okay, we'll see later. So as of now, this is the configuration files. These are the configuration files. Some data files also there. Data files under base directory, all the data files are there. So finally, the data directory, the purpose of data directory is to store data files and the configuration files. We are using data directory. So this is for each and every cluster. We have separated data directory. It's not common. This is for how many clusters are running here? PS minus grep Postgres. You can say only one cluster is running. These are the background process for this cluster. Only one instance. This is the instance information. This is the instance data directory. Cluster or instance both are same. For this instance, these are the background process. If you create two clusters like this, the two parts it's showing. This is the one cluster. The another cluster also is showing same. The background process are same. The data directory is different. Second cluster. Each and every cluster, the background process are same. So now I want to connect the database. How to connect the database? We have to switch to Postgres user because default is set up the database cluster using Postgres user only. That is the default user. So now if you want to verify the services, there is two methods we are using systemctl So systemctl status PostgreSQL 16. By using this method, you can verify the services are running or not. It's showing active, it's running. That means one cluster is running. The cluster data directory, this is the data directory. These are the background process. If you want to verify ps minus grep Postgres, if you want to verify the services using this command, you can verify this command. These are the background process. This is the data directory. By seeing this, what is the super user Postgres? So if you want to connect the database, PSQL. So what is the version? You can say 16.10. So default, how many databases are there? There are three databases are there. Postgres, template 0, template 1. Out of three, which one we connected default? Postgres, the default database. When you give PSQL, we are not specifying any DB. Default it connected to Postgres DB only. Let me create one database. Create database. Database name HRMS. You can see HRMS database created. How to verify? /l is the meta command, shortcut command to verify how many databases are there inside the instance, inside the cluster. Totally 4 databases are there, 4 rows. One is HRMS, second is Postgres, third is template 0, template 1. I want to switch to HRMS database /c HRMS. Now I connected to HRMS database. How many schemas are there? /dn. Only one schema is there each and every database. Default one schema is there. That is the public is the default schema. If you want to create your own schema, yes, you can create. We'll see in the schema topic. If you want to exit, /q. Can say this is how you can build the database server using em method. We are not creating any user. We are not creating data directory. Default it takes default data directory. Default it takes default user, super user, Postgres. If you want to change the super user, yes, we'll change. If you want to change the data directory, we can change. We'll see later how to customize the installation part. We'll see. Initially, we'll go through the default installation part. Later, we'll see how to customize the installation, how to change data directory, how to change port number, how to change the super user Postgres. Okay. So, any queries from anyone? Suppose if you want to stop the services using PGCTL, yes. What is the PGCTL? Let me go to verify installation part. This is the home location. Under home location, there are bin folder is there. Under bin, all the binaries are there. All the executable files are there. You can say there is a initdb also one of the executable file to create a cluster using initdb. PSQL to connect the database we are using PSQL. PG underscore CTL to stop and start services manually using PG underscore CTL. To take the backup PG dump. If you want to upgrade the database, PG underscore upgrade. If you want to vacuum, yes, vacuum DB. These are the binaries or executable files. Once end of the course, you get familiar with these all the utilities. As of now, initdb, PGCTL, PSQL. As of now, only three utilities we are familiar. So let me start the services using PGCTL. PS manager Postgres. So what is the full path of PGCTL? This is the /bin/pg underscore CTL -d. Which data directory services you want to stop? This is the data directory. Stop. I am going to stop the services. Server stopped. Now you can verify services PS manager Postgres. Nothing is running. Now if you try to connect the database PSQL, it's not connecting. No instances are running. If at least any one cluster is running, directly connected to Postgres database. How to stop the services? PGCTL -d data directory start. Server started. Clear? So we can start the services, stop the services using PGCTL. We can also stop services using systemctl. Sudo systemctl can say status. Let me stop the services. Now can say verify status active. Here it's showing dead, inactive state, means no clusters are running. So let me start the services. Start. Let me check the. Okay, whenever you face issues, okay, let me start the PGCTL. It give the error message. Can see start. Can see here postmaster.pid already exist log file. So can see here another server might be running means there is a already services running. That is error. Can see already running. So that's why it throws error. Let me exit. Yes. Let me stop the services. PS minus grep Postgres. Okay, so let me stop the services. Maybe PGCTL using PGCTL we started. Yes, now there is no services are running. Okay, so sudo system ctl start. Let me now can say started without any errors. The command executed. Now verify status. It's running. Now let me reboot init. Init 6 means I am rebooting this Linux server. So it will stopping all the services, then stop the Linux server, then start the Linux server. Once restarted a Linux mission, the Postgres services also started automatically using daemon process. Let's see, let's verify. Can see here. So it's stopping everything. What are the service database services? First stop the database services, then shut down the Linux server. After shutdown, again starting the Linux server. After starting the Linux server, if the daemon process enable, it's going to start the Postgres services. If the daemon services not enable, it doesn't start the services. We have to start the services manually. As of now, the daemon process is enabled. Let's see the services are started automatically or not. It's very important systemctl in real time. All the projects they are using start and stop services systemctl only. Let's start the. Okay, so let's. We have to wait to complete start connection. Let's wait. Okay, so it's a Linux 8. It takes time, sometime. So PGCTL, okay, systemctl, it's automatically start the services using PGCTL. If you start the services using PGCTL, after restarting the server, the services won't start automatically. If you started using systemctl, then we have to stop using systemctl only. Yes, correct, correct. Let me stop it and let me again start it the mission. Yes, if you start the PGCTL services using PGCTL, then stop the PGCTL, then start the systemctl. Okay, so started. Let me log in. Root, Oracle. Okay, let me take the IP. Yes, here. Let me restart the session. Root, Oracle. Now can verify systemctl status. Can say Linux server started immediately. The daemon process started the services automatically. The service is up and running. No need to start manually. So if you disable the services, let me disable. I am going to disable the daemon process. How to verify whether it is enable or disable? Here you can say it's a disable. Right now it's disabled because we disable the services. Now it's disabled. Now if you reboot the server, the services won't start automatically because the daemon process disabled. Even though if you start the systemctl service Postgres services using systemctl, the daemon process is disabled state currently, so it won't start the services automatically. Let me init 0. I'm stopping the service. Let me start the server again. Clear? Understand? Okay, so it's stop. I'm starting the server. After starting the server, now this time Postgres services offline only. The Postgres services not started automatically because the daemon process disabled state. It won't start the services. Let's wait. So it's very important. Daemon process should be enabled even though if you start the services using systemctl. Then only whenever the Linux server is rebooted, the Postgres services automatically started by daemon process. Okay, we'll verify. Let me root Oracle. Now I can verify systemctl status. I can say it's inactive, dead. Means the Postgres services not started. Why? Because the daemon process is disabled state. Okay, you have to start the services manually. Until unless the services will be down only. Now started. Now you can verify. Yes, that is about M method. So okay, that's it from my side. If you have any queries, let me know.